two. Welcome back to our writing sessions. Now, today we are going to write our riddle about our chosen bird. You will need some paper, you preferably lined, please. You will need a writing pencil, and if you want to decorate, you might need some colour pencils and pens as well. You will also need your work from the previous session, where you chose a bird and you researched lots of things about it. Now, if you didn't do the previous session, don't worry, because I'm going to have my example up on the screen and you can use that. Here we go. Before we start, let's share some fantastic work that came in yesterday. Before we start writing, let's warm our brains up and get into riddle mode. I have written a riddle about an animal here, and I'd like you to tell me what is wrong with it. I'll read it out now. I am grey and have a long trunk. I have big ears and wrinkly skin. When I make a sound, it is like a trumpet. My name begins with E. Who am I? Now, I'm not sure that riddle's quite right. See if you can guess the animal, which I think might be quite easy. But also, have a think about what have I done wrong when thinking about my clues. Pause video now to have a think or have a discussion with your grown-up. Welcome back. Did you guess what my animal was? It was an elephant. Pretty easy to guess, wasn't it? Because what I did wrong was I just gave lots of really easy clues that were all elephant clues. I didn't try and trick my reader at all with some tricky ones at the beginning. Oh dear, what a silly numpty I am. I think I'd better check our success criteria to remind myself of what makes a good riddle. Here we go. Our riddles must be written in the first person. So we're going to imagine that we are the bird that we have researched. So we're going to use I, me, and my. We are going to write about 4 or 5 clues that become easier. So some hard at the beginning and easier at the end. That's the bit I forgot. We can use expanded noun phrases to add detail. That's when we're giving really precise clues that reflect our chosen bird. We can use conjunctions to vary the clues. Make them longer, make them different at the start. Just give our reader a bit more interest. And don't forget, we end with a what or who am I. That's your choice, really. I've gone with who am I because I'm imagining that I'm the bird. But if you just want to put what am I, that's still okay. Now, in the last session, I researched magpies and I collected all my information. After I'd stopped the video, I went and got a little bit more information, and you can see that I added to my picture. Now, hopefully you have researched your own bird using the website that I showed you, but if you didn't join in with the last session, that's okay. You can use my information I gathered about magpies and you can write your riddle about a magpie. That will be fine. Now, you can see that I've highlighted some of my information in green and put numbers beside them as well. Because I collected a lot of information about magpies, I don't necessarily want to use it all. So I've highlighted the bits of information I do want to use in my riddle. I've also numbered the information in the order that I probably want to use it. So beginning with magpies live in lots of different habitats. I think that could be lots of birds. So it's probably a more tricky clue. It's a harder clue. So I'm putting that first, all the way down to 7. Black and white feathers, that's really what makes a magpie stand out, so I'm thinking that's probably going to be one of my easier clues. It might be a good idea if you do this as well. So hopefully you've got your research in front of you, or you could be using my magpie information. And I want you to pause the video and highlight by circling or underlining the information you want to use, and maybe numbering it, thinking about the harder clues first and those easier clues last. Pause the video now to have a go at that. Okay, so I'm going to start writing my riddle. Hopefully you have managed to highlight the information you want to write, and maybe even numbered it as well so you know the order. I'm going to be using my information to write my magpie riddle. So, looking at my planning sheet, number 1, lots of different habitats. And I've chosen that as my first clue because actually that could be lots of birds. There are lots of birds who live in lots of different habitats. Especially in the United Kingdom, there are birds that live in the towns and the cities, but also live in the countryside as well. So I think that's a good hard clue. Now, as well as my success criteria that we've just looked at, I think we also need to remind ourselves that we still need to be using capital letters and full stops, using the correct punctuation, making sure we're checking spellings and checking back afterwards. Okay, so my first clue is about lots of different habitats. I'm remembering that I need to write in the first person. I am the magpie. I live in lots of different habitats. I'm happy with that. Sounds good. So I am going to start writing, remembering that I write next to the margin. I'm starting with a capital I, not only because it's the beginning of the sentence, but also when we write I, meaning ourselves, it's always a capital letter. I live. Now live is a funny word because it doesn't follow the rule. We also say this word live using that split digraph, but I'm writing in the present tense. I live, but we must remember that E at the end. I live in lots, and making sure my tall letters are tall, my small letters are small, my in-between letters, like that letter T, is somewhere in between. Lots of different go back and dot my I, habitats, it, at, and the S on the end. It's not just one habitat, it's lots of different habitats. There we go, and I've got my expanded noun phrase. I live in lots of habitats. They're different habitats. They're not the same. There's my first clue. Now, if I look at my information, at number 2 and 3, I have sharp beak and thin legs. Now, they're very little descriptions, and they're descriptions about what the bird looks like. So I think I'm going to put them together. Which conjunction should I use? I have a sharp beak. I have thin legs. Pause the video now to have a think. Welcome back. That's right, I would use and to join those bits of information together. I have a sharp beak and thin legs. Now, just to make it clear for you, I'm going to miss a line. It's up to you whether you miss a line or not. As I say, I'm just doing it so you can see me right clearly. So again, starting with that capital letter, I have, and again, have is one of those tricky words, doesn't follow the phonics rule. I have a sharp, sharp, 3 sounds, 2 digraphs. So, sharp. I have a sharp beak. Now, I know that it is EA for the E sound in beak because I did my research on the RSPB website and they had lots of bird-specific words there. Beak was one of them. I have a sharp beak and, there's my conjunction, and in legs. Don't forget the S for legs. It's not just one leg, they've got two. And my full stop at the end. Now my next clue, I noticed on my planning board, it's number 4, omnivore. Now omnivore is a scientific word. It describes what someone eats or what type of eater they are. And an omnivore eats everything. They might eat seeds, they might eat vegetables, they might eat meat as well. So they eat anything they can get their beaks on. So that narrows it down a little bit. Not all birds are omnivores. A lot just eat seeds, but a magpie will eat anything. So I'm going to leave that as quite a short clue, and I'm really using that scientific vocabulary about birds. So I am an omnivore. I am an omnivore. Brilliant. Now on to my 4th clue, which is information number 5 on my planning sheet, clicking sound. Now I would like to use one of the other conjunctions here, just to change up. I've got I want to change it up with a different starting word. And I think I might use the conjunction if. Now, I said that magpies made a clicking sound. Now that was my interpretation of the sound that they made, okay? I think they make a clicking sound. You might have thought something different. That is okay. But I'm going to go with clicking. If you listen, you will hear me clicking. Now I did think about if you listen carefully. But one of my other facts about magpies is that they're quite noisy. So I think I won't put carefully, I will just, if you listen, you will hear me clicking. So if, capital letter at the beginning of the sentence. If you, because I'm talking to our reader, if you listen, and listen has a secret T in the middle. Can't really hear it when we say it, but it is there. If you listen, you, that's the reader, will hear, and I know it's the sort of hearing I do with my ear because it's got the word ear in it, hear me clicking. Full stop. Okay, I'm on to my last clue now, my 5th clue, and I want to join together the last 2 bits of information on my planning. Number 6 and number 7. Number 6 likes shiny objects, and number 7 black and white feathers. Now I found out that magpies love shiny objects and they often steal them and put them in their nest. And that's something that a lot of people know about magpies. So I think this fact, coupled with the black and white feathers, should be a really easy clue. So I'm going to join them using and. I have black and white feathers and I like shiny objects. I have used that word before, so I can check up above. I have black and white feathers. My T a little bit too tall then, I would normally do it a little bit shorter. And I like shiny I could put shiny things. I want to up-level my word to shiny objects. And let's not forget that full stop at the end of the sentence. Now, because I've written my 5 clues, I now need to tell my reader that it's their turn to do some work. So I'm going to ask my question, and I'm going to ask, who am I? Now you could use what am I? That's okay. I'm using who am I because I've been thinking in my head that I am the magpie. So I'm thinking of who am I? But you could choose what am I because a bird is a thing, it's not a person. But that's okay. It doesn't matter whether you use who am I or what am I. I have used who am I. Uh-oh, what have I forgotten? It's a question, so it needs that question mark. Now that you've seen me have a go at writing my riddle, it's your turn to write yours. Here are your chilly challenges. The 1 chilly challenge. Write clues that describe just the appearance of your bird. Can you use the conjunction and to join 2 bits of information together? Chilly 2. Describe your bird's appearance and sound. Can you vary your clues? Remember, not all of mine started with I. I did start with the conjunction if in one of them. Some were short, some were long. Make them more interesting for your reader. Chilly 3. Can you arrange your clues so that the start is a little bit difficult and the end clue is much easier? Remember, by the time you get to your final clue, your reader should be able to make a really good guess about which bird you are. Now, if you are choosing your own bird and you've done your research, that is brilliant. If you want to use my information that I researched about a magpie, that is fine, and I will put it on the screen in a moment so you can look at it and pause and write your riddle from that. That's fine. Don't forget, I absolutely love seeing your work coming in. I'd love to have a go at guessing your riddles, so please send them in to me at the Year 2 email address. Have fun. Can't wait to see what you do.